The thing is, you're different. You actually are invincible.
Hello everyone, my name is Ben, and today we're going to talk about Invincible, my favorite superhero and the star of the successful comic book series and animated show of the same name. Now, slight spoiler warning here, I'm trying my best to keep this video as spoiler-free as possible. However, given the nature of comics and how even glancing at an upcoming issue's cover can be enough to give away some of the plot, just be warned. You may see an image here that might give away some slight details, but it won't be anything major. I'm not going to reveal any plot twists or summarize the ending or anything like that, alright? So, are we ready? Are we good to go? Let's jump on in. Invincible, or Mark Grayson, is an Image Universe superhero created by writer Robert Kirkman, also the creator of the Walking Dead series, and main artists Cory Walker and Ryan Ottley. Born in 1987, Invincible is the son of Omni-Man, an extraterrestrial superhero of the Viltrumite race. In a coming-of-age story, Invincible inherits his father's complete array of superpowers, and he swears to protect the Earth. As a teenager, he has trouble adjusting to his newfound powers, and coping with the reality of his origins. The comic series began publication on January 22nd of 2003, concluding on February 14th of 2018. Aww, the series ended on Valentine's Day? How sweet. A television series adaptation began streaming on Amazon Prime Video on March 25th, 2021, to critical acclaim. So, more backstory for our hero. Mark Grayson was born to Nolan Grayson, a Viltrumite male, and Deborah Grayson, a human female. When Mark was just 7 years old, his dad told him that he was an alien from a different planet, and also the world-famous superhero known as Omni-Man. Mark was told that the Viltrumites are virtually a race of peaceful supermen. Mark learned that his father had come to Earth to protect it, and that one day Mark would develop superpowers like Nolan. Every single day since that moment, Mark has just been waiting for his powers to develop. And then one day, in his senior year of high school, while working at his part-time job, he sent a trash bag flying through the sky.
It's about time.
Nolan eventually had his friend Art make Mark a superhero costume, but Mark needed to choose a name first. After protecting a classmate from being bullied, he was sent to the principal's office, who commended him, but warned him that he isn't invincible or anything. Mark liked the name, and decided to use it for his superhero identity. And thus, Invincible was born. To me, Invincible feels like a cross between Superman and Spider-Man. Or like maybe if Superman had a baby and then that baby grew up to be Spider-Man? I don't know. He's really cool either way. I first became familiar with Invincible by watching the animated series. It truly feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, complete with a monster of the week and or a team up with a new superhero character. However, this series is very clearly developed for a mature audience, with an irreverent sense of humor, and enough violence to make even Tarantino proud. Audiences praise the show for its animation, action sequences, storyline, writing, voice acting, and overall faithfulness to the original comics. The cast includes Stephen Yen, Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons, Gillian Jacobs, Walton Goggins, Zachary Quinto, Seth Rogen, Mark Hamill, and even Reginald Vell Johnson, as a character based on himself. Just look at this star-studded lineup. The series has been confirmed for a second and third season. I'm very thrilled to see how this next season shapes up, since the first one was so enjoyable. You should definitely check it out, if you have the opportunity. The comic book series is even better, and clearly a send-up of the comics and the superheroes that came before. It almost borders on parody. There's even a team that's obviously a copy of the Justice League called the Guardians of the Globe. But it's done so well that the series is clearly a love letter to these tropes that have become so familiar to us as fans. Things like the secret identity, the kid sidekick, the anti-hero, puberty superpowers, the loss of superpowers, the rogues gallery, freak lab accidents, alien invasions, multiple dimensions, the kryptonite factor, cyborgs, kaiju, and time travel based reboots are all cleverly incorporated in an impressive plotline that spans 144 issues over the course of 15 years. There's even an evil costume switch. Well, it's not really evil, but you get the idea here. There's just a little bit of everything. And it's accomplished with style, wit, and plenty of love. Just listen to some of these superhero names that he came up with. Adam Eve, Rexplode, Shrinking Ray, Duplicate, Multipole, just to name a few. What's not to love here? In addition to how cool and awesome this series is on a surface level, it maintains really strong themes as well, the most obvious being family. I find Mark's relationship with his family to be very interesting. The way his newfound powers can change the dynamics of the household, while seemingly everything else is the same. He has the ability to easily float around his home while his mom Debbie scolds him and reprimands him from any flying in the house. I have to say, Mark's relationship with Debbie is my personal favorite. She's a regular human with no powers, and whilst a caring and loving mother, she still firmly maintains her authority status as a parent over Mark, even after he becomes a superhero.
Get inside right now.
Make me.
Does that make you feel strong? To know I can't physically make you do something, is that what you need?
It's really admirable the way she stands her ground against superhumans. And then you have Omni-Man as his dad. They play games of catch amidst jumbo jets, race each other to Mount Everest, and Nolan does his best to shape the young Mark into the superhero he believes he can be. He's almost like the stereotypical sports dad pushing his child headfirst into physical activities. At the end of the day, this story is about the Graysons, how they grow and change as a family. The flashy superhero antics are just a vehicle for that story, and a very interesting way to convey these themes to the viewer. The way that Kirkman explores these themes, these tropes, these stereotypes, and blends them into his own world is highly impressive. It never feels stale. In fact, it feels very fresh and new, like a phoenix rising from the ashes of rebooted, rehashed origin stories from the same handful of heroes we've seen again and again and again. Invincible is everything you know and love about superhero sagas, reimagined in a brand new tale, with a huge, colorful cast of friends and foes, spanning from an ordinary high school to the vast reaches of space and beyond. It truly is an incredible story to experience, and I highly recommend it to anyone with an interest in comic book superheroes. The good news is that the comic series is complete, with a definitive ending, and in my personal opinion, the ending is quite good and truly satisfying, with a strong sense of closure while maintaining the possibility for future endeavors. Okay, now let's move on to the rubric for this topic, which includes 6 questions. Number 1, are they hot? Mark is a very good-looking young man. He's always been in good shape, and after receiving his powers, he becomes even more physically fit without being too jacked in the muscle department. He's got a wonderful smile and great hair, and the costume does not hide this at all. He's never been a huge ladies' man, but he does have several love interests throughout the lengthy story, so he definitely knows how to impress the opposite sex with his charms and romance. So good on you, Mark. We're proud of you. Number 2, would I want their powers? Well, let's see. Invincible's powers include superhuman strength, stamina, and speed, nigh invulnerability, the ability to fly, enhanced healing factor, and decelerated aging. So yes, definitely big yes. These powers all sound good to me. I mean, he's practically invincible. Number 3, are they actually good or do they destroy cities? Invincible is an inherently good character. He constantly tries to fight for what he believes is morally right, even going against the grain of authority at times. However, Mark is still growing up and learning, so he may be misguided or misinformed from time to time. He still does right by the innocent bystander whenever it is within his power. He also faces the issue of inevitable collateral damage when he faces off against his more powerful opponents. Still, Mark justifies this by focusing on the greater good that will follow once dispatching these mega villains. He always seems to carry a huge sense of guilt associated with those he couldn't save. Very similar to Peter Parker's persistent guilt surrounding Uncle Ben's death. Number 4, are they fun in media? Mark is a pretty funny guy. He's got quips and one-liners on par with Spider-Man.
I guess I'm working on that.
Well, most of the time, he's still working on his catchphrase. But the point is, Invincible has a habit of making light of very tense situations. He's still just a kid after all, and he's brutally honest. He never misses an opportunity to sum up everything quite briefly in a one-word response like, weird, gross, neat, cool, lame, wow. Very typical for a teenager. It can be pretty annoying to his enemies, but that's what makes it fun for the audience to watch. He's just clowning around like any kid would, while everyone else is taking these grave situations very seriously. It makes for an interesting contrast. Number 5, is their human form a dork? Oh my god, yes, Mark can be such a dork at times.
Morning.
I mean, he spent most of his free time before his powers just reading comic books. And his favorite comic is called Science Dog. Like, come on. You can see here that the show changed it to Seance Dog, I'm pretty sure because Kirkman didn't want anything concrete regarding Science Dog and Amazon. But anyways, Mark doesn't play sports or have any unique hobbies. I think because he knows his powers will come any day, he would rather just wait for that. Even after getting his powers, his dorky side still persists. Most evident when he spends time with his best friend William, who can be an even bigger dork than Mark. Wait a minute, I read comics on my free time. Did I just call myself a dork? Number 6, do they have a cool costume? The original costume is insanely solid. It's simple, yet sleek and stylish. The light splashes of blue and yellow both complement each other very well, and the black is there to fill the rest out while remaining sharp. Fingerless gloves for an extra cool factor, and the goggles are, well, they're goggles? I guess they protect his eyes? Anyways, the rest of it is super awesome. Mark gives his costume designer Art one simple request.
But I was really, hoping for something more, I don't know, iconic?
Of course you were. That's what everyone wants. Iconic. A symbol. Something kids will draw on the margins of their notebooks while they daydream about being as cool as you.
And I believe Art is successful in that delivery. Also, don't judge me, but it took me way too long to realize that that's a letter I on his costume for Invincible. Also, the new Dark costume is extremely cool as well, making Mark's overall look even simpler, yet more stark and dramatic. The new change was conceived to celebrate the comic's 50th issue, but don't you worry, he goes back to the original costume after a very brief stint. There you have it. Thank you for listening to my summary on what makes Invincible my favorite superhero. He's a fun kid with a good heart and immense power, thriving in a beautiful crafted pastiche, which serves as a love letter to the superheroes we grew up with. And what's not to love? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you check out the series at some point, and I'll see you all when season 2 drops. Take care.